Hi guys, welcome to your morning message. Today's message is for February 5th, 2020. It's the real February 5th. Yesterday I said February 5th. I meant today. So February 5th, 2020, and you guys know these messages are absolutely timeless. So anytime that you watch it, it is appropriate as long as it resonates, and it's for anybody as long as it resonates. So I also want to add that remember these energies can move at any speed throughout your particular chart. So for some people, this might play out faster, and for some, it might be slower, right? So it is what it is. God bless. So welcome. If you'd like a personal reading with me, you can check my box below. I do offer one-on-one coaching as well. If you would like to donate, thank you. That link is in the box below as well. All right, so let's jump in. So guys, first of all, I just want to let you know, if you looked at the original or initial spread that I had, you will see that it did not have these little pieces, these little cards here. It just had here and here. And so as I was getting ready to turn on the camera, I realized that the spread was not complete. Now as I look at it, it's a teary eye. So there's no underlid, but they're showing tears coming from what could be this eye. Excuse me. And so what the message is today, I feel, I haven't looked at the cards yet, is that Spirit may want to make a commentary on life and how it can be hard and how things can happen and just the stress about it. So let's see what they have to say. So the first card that they're bringing us here is Wasp Spirit. Now, I shuffled for a minute, and Wasp Spirit came out, jumped out of the card deck 3 times. And so finally when I started to lay the cards, the first card that came up was bam, him. Now he says sometimes life stings. So definitely in line with our theme. Sometimes stuff happens in life and you have to deal with it. Now, yes, you're like, well, is it, are they accidents? Are they whatnot? But it's karmic contracts. And it's kind of like, was it my contract to have this happen to me, to have that happen to me? It was within the realm of possibility, within your contract, yes. And some things that happen are more, let's say, along the line towards destined than others where they may more be about free will, right? And I like to liken life based on my current understanding. I like to liken life to Choose Your Own Adventure books where, remember those cute books that we used to read when we were younger? Those books were always written in second person point of view. So the books always addressed the reader as you. And it always started off with a basic situation and then gave you as the reader choices on how to proceed through the book. And based on the choices that you made, they would direct you to a different page in the book. So for example, if it starts off at the beach, it'll say something like you and your friends are at the beach to celebrate 4th of July, and some of them decide to go buy some fishing gear somewhere and you decide to stay back. But while you're there, you notice there's something glimmering in the water. Do you go to check it out, or do you agree to wait on the beach, on the shore, until your friends come back? And depending on which choice you make, one may take you to page 2 and the other may take you to page 11, for example. So I think that is an example of life where the book, my dears, is already written, but how you navigate through that book is dependent upon you. And there are certain points where you have choice points of free will. And I would liken that to choosing which page number you want to go to. But once you go to that page, there are certain events that have to play out, based on momentum, based on just what the soul karmic agreement is with other people and for you to experience. So that was a long-winded but awesome way of saying, guys, shit happens, right? Sometimes life stings, and sometimes there's just no way to ever get emotionally to the place where you can understand why that happened in life during your lifetime. So you may be one of the lucky people to understand why this person cheated on you, to understand why your plane went down and whatever, or someone's plane went down. You get the point. But we should always strive to connect and do our best during life. So let's see what Spirit also has to say about this. They're drawing me to this card here at the bottom. It's all the way at the bottom of the deck here. of the spread here. This is the Two of Pentacles. A lot of you guys know that basically the Two of Pentacles can speak of a decision that needs to be made, about indecision, about juggling things, whatnot. But what I'm seeing here is that they're giving you a nod to say, hey, we know that a lot of you are stuck in between, right? A lot of you are having trouble making decisions in your life. A lot of you may feel stagnant. A lot of you may need a push by spirit or push by some outside force like a catalyst to get things going. And they know that this is because a lot of you end up kind of getting stuck in the pain that you've been through and the many traumas that you've been through. I'm getting for somebody here, there was a traumatic birth that you had, like in the sense that you gave birth to a baby, God bless, but it was very traumatic for you. And so Spirit is acknowledging that as well. But for someone else, I'm getting something about a bicycle. Maybe it could have been, I don't know, it could have been a bicycle theft or attempted bicycle theft, or even a bicycle accident of some sort, something surrounding a bicycle. I'm getting for somebody, it may not be you, the viewer, it may be like your nephew. I'm just getting a male energy, or maybe a niece. Remember, the male or masculine or feminine energies don't necessarily correspond to what we would identify as the biological bodies. It's just looking at the dominant charge in the person. So they can be a masculine, more predominantly masculine energy, but come in a female body, for example, right? But that's for somebody. I'm getting that trailer park home again for someone else. So I'm just seeing a lot of stuff happening for a lot of you. It really depends on your personal situation, but I'm picking up on a few scenarios. I'm also getting that for some of you, somebody here, a scientist is involved. Maybe a scientist has given you some news about something, and, you know, by the way, I feel that news is wrong, God bless. I don't know what the news is, but they're saying for somebody, a scientist of some sort gave you some news, and they're saying that's wrong. It's not right, okay? You'll know if that's for you, because, like, how many of us are talking to scientists? But anyway, God bless. They're saying that a lot of you may still be stuck in this, you know, I guess prolonged traumatized state, this prolonged shock, PTSD, whatever you'd like to call it, in response to a major traumatic event or multiple traumatic events. And remember, life comes with big traumas and little traumas. Somebody looking at you the wrong way could trigger something inside of you from a past lifetime, and it could be a major trauma for you, whereas someone else would just like shrug it off, right? So we can't really put a measurement on trauma and the things that hurt us. But they're saying that, they're also identifying the things that hurt us, H-E-R-D. So the things he's saying, maybe it's a he who's talking to me, I don't know. God bless. The things he's saying pull us all together. I'm like, why would they say he? Why would he say he to identify himself? And I think that the reason why is because our speaker, regardless of, you know, whatever, he's trying to give a nod to a lot of you guys out there who may be dealing with traumatic love relationships, or he's expanding it to traumatic situations related to the unhealed masculine. Now, the unhealed masculine, of course, can show up within ourselves, male or female, doesn't matter, because we all have male and female polarities within us, but it could come through a father figure of some sort, an older male, could be through a teacher or a mentor figure, could be also, I'm getting something with a mentor figure, like a professor for somebody here, could be boyfriend, husband, things like that, brother. So he's saying that he wanted to tip a nod. And the point that they're saying is these traumas hurt us. He's saying that a lot of these pains and traumas that we experience serve to unify us. And so that's why it can become easy to do readings like these general readings on YouTube, not to replace a personal reading, of course, but these general readings, because they tap into universal pains and the universal wounds that still exist. So, even though you guys may have different situations that have affected you, the truth is that there's some similarity enough for you guys all to be herded to the same place. Okay? Now, he's saying that a lot of you may be experiencing feelings like this, not being able to know how to start. For some of you, it's not being able to know whether to sign on that house that you have. So I'm seeing somebody possibly being able to move into a new apartment or a house, and you don't know about the deed. Should I sign it? This is indecision, right? Somebody here is thinking about whether or not to take in a brother or sister to live with them for the time being, maybe for whatever reason. Maybe you're afraid of activating past dynamics, when you were younger, where you felt disempowered and whatnot, and here you are finally having your own place, and now they're coming back. You're afraid that you'll regress. Some of you, it's myriad. There are myriad scenarios for people listening, but they're just pointing to the what's the word? Sorry, guys, my brain. Come on, Jonelle, come on. The uncertainty. So anyway, now they're saying, so yes, when you are at this place where life sucks, where you have things that set you back, and it leads you to points of, they keep wanting to say insincerity for a lot of you. So maybe you guys may know what that means. Oh, got it. When they're saying insincerity, it's the idea that sometimes when we are traumatized, what we do is we take a step back and we don a mask. That's the beginning of a mask, they say. A lot of us put on this mask. It can range anywhere from I'm okay all the way to I'm tough, but really you're shaking like a cute little flower on the inside, all the way to I'm not hurt at all, but really you're like, right? To acting blasé, like whatever, when really it's the biggest thing on your mind. So, and some of you, they say, also move into fear mode, which gives way to mean mode, right? So you become afraid of the world and it turns you mean. And the idea is for you get into this place where it's like, well, the world was mean to me, I'm going to be mean to the world as a preemptive strike. And they're saying the deadly part of that is that we don't even realize when that kind of energy and that kind of dynamic and that way of showing up in the world has crept into our behavioral patterns. But they're saying from this initial trauma point and this holding on to it and not being able to heal it comes, they're saying, some of the world's greatest defenses. So in a sense, they're making a double meaning there, double entendre. In the one sense, they're saying the greatest defense mechanisms. So all the defense mechanisms out there that we do as human beings, they're saying all stem from that mask moment, right? But they're also saying greatest defenses as a nod to a lot of the world leaders out there who are in ego and in pain, they're saying. So they're moving off of this mask that, unhealed issues and God bless us all. So they're making a reference to that. But they're saying that they have some ideas on how to bounce back from that. Now they're saying there's no substitute for timing. You're just going to have to do the time when it comes to having those experiences, right? But they're also saying that time can be a healer, and it's necessary, but it can just be like bed rest as well, right? So taking time out, sorry guys, I'm trying not to choke on my incense. So taking time out can be, or taking the time to experience these things can kind of be like a little bit of a bed rest, a form of bed rest for human beings. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense somewhat for me when I say it. Let's move on. So one of the things that they're saying for you guys is when we find ourselves in these places of immobility, we have to acknowledge that sometimes we need to collaborate with other people. Sometimes we do need to include other people in the healing process. And they're saying that yes, there are sometimes when you're asked to be more in a hermit mode, but they're saying there's always some way to have a collaboration. And they say that you need only look up. You need only ask your angels and guides, like, guys, I can't do this alone. I'm crying every night. I'm crying in my car, crying, in the shower. What do I do here? Right? And they send you stuff. People are amazing. So I kind of have a misanthropic side, but who doesn't, right? But that being said, it's like people are God's greatest gift to people. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, yes, spirit can move miracles, but they're saying that spirit often works through the physical. In order to get through to the physical, they have to work through people in many ways. So sometimes you're praying and the answers are not coming because you're not allowing people in to give you the answers. So they're saying this does not mean to just let any old person in. You have to guard yourself and guard your spirit. However, they do say to acknowledge sometimes people who are coming by to help you, and you can ask God for help with discerning that as well. Another thing they're saying that you should do, oh, there it is, yeah, is to set healthy boundaries. Now they're calling your attention to cute armadillo spirit. Super cute, look at him, right? Armadillo spirit is saying, yes, set healthy boundaries, but it doesn't mean that he's always going to ball up into a cute little armadillo ball, in which case all you see is shell. He's saying that instead he can remain open and use his discernment and think about whether or not he feels comfortable around the energy. And he reminds us that we could use our clairs, our clairsentience, claircognizance, clairaudience, clairvoyance, all of those clairs to help us be amazing at discernment. And he's saying that if he does need to ball up and bump a fool out the way, he will. But he's saying setting healthy boundaries does not always mean just kicking people out. Sometimes it could mean limiting other people, limiting certain people, or even just limiting the time spent, right? Have you ever had a friend or a group of friends or coworkers or a coworker or just whatever, a family member where you can only take in small doses? We all know what we're talking about, okay? And so they're saying that, remember, setting healthy boundaries doesn't always mean just completely like whoosh, giving the guillotine. If that's what you feel that you need to do because you're feeling disempowered in the moment, then so be it. But they're saying that a lot of times it's just more about coming from an empowered place, limiting the amount of time or limiting the amount of people. Some people do not like to hang out with big groups. I'm kind of one of those people. I feel like the world has two groups. It's one side where they're like, the more the merrier. And then it's the other side who's like, no, I don't want that many people. It's too much. And I definitely fall into the latter, Like 6 is my max. And that's even pushing it at times. But anyway, so Spirit is just giving you options with that. They're saying when you're in this space of dealing with life's traumas as well, another thing to keep in mind is that a rebirth is assured. Guys, I know you may feel like you've been wandering through the desert for so long, not having assistance, but guys, I can tell you that you have assistance all the time. The question is, are you hearing it? Are you listening to it? Are you paying attention to it? Are you, sometimes people miss the assistance because they think it's going to come in one form and it's actually coming in another, right? That happens a lot when it comes to love. People want love so much and they keep going to these shitty ass romantic relationships when there's a neighbor who's just trying to get your attention, just trying to be friends. They're like, hey, do you want to come over for tea? They might not be your cup of tea, so to speak. Hey, you guys like that pun? Because they're like an older neighbor whose kids are away and you're just like, and you want that young flashy guy who's across the street. And Spirit is like, dude, you want love, but here you are spurning pure love coming in because it's not coming in the form that you want. So they're saying that sometimes people don't realize that a rebirth is definitely going to happen because they are not listening to Spirit. They're setting expectations that may be unreal, and that leads to missing the signs and feeling like, oh, I'm going to stay in this funk forever, whereas like all the signs are around that there are ways to like get out of your rut. And that's why I guess readers can be so helpful. Obviously not all, but some readers can be helpful because they can, and then same with therapists, right? Anytime you have an objective outside party looking in, they can help you to see where you might be missing avenues of support. They're literally showcasing the words avenues of support. Now, by the way, notice I said objective outsiders. Don't just grab any family member to hand. Don't grab any friend to hand. You need somebody who's grounded and who can like tell you when you're wrong, who can, you know what I'm talking about. yeah, so they're saying a rebirth is a short. I'm getting English energy right now. When I say English energy, like a British energy, not even like so much to say UK energy, but like British in some way. So that's for somebody maybe you're watching and you're like, oh, that's me. That was the worst British accent ever. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, I am shutting this channel down. Anyway, so the point is that they are trying to like reach out to some of you here. Somebody here is British, they're acknowledging it. I'm hearing across the English channel as well. Wait, hold on. What does that mean? All right, it could mean something for somebody out there. God bless you. But I also felt like they meant... It feels like they're trying to pull in a reader online. That's an English channel. The only English reader that I can think of is Ace of Pentacles. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, love her. Ace of Pentacles. She's very good, by the way, guys. Anyway, I don't know what that's about, but let's move on. So the next thing that they're saying is Brown Bear Spirit. When you find yourself in this position, they're saying, yes, you can be on the defensive, but this doesn't mean that you have to be quick to act. Take time out. Because look, Brown Bear is pretty big. Big brown bear, right? Down bear. But Brown Bear is very measured in his energy. He doesn't expend unnecessary energy. This is an energy where he's just like, okay, even if somebody's pushed him, you see how like somebody clearly pushed him and their paw print is still on him. He's like, even if he's been pushed, he's not quick to react. He wants to think first. He wants to take time out. I see him watering his plants. You know, he's spending some time doing things that force him to have downtime, force him to get engaged in a process. Otherwise, he says he may be quick to react and may create more damage within himself in relation to what is going on. So Brown Bear Spirit is saying, please remember to take time out when you are in this kind of mode. And some of you are like, dude, I've been on the back burner right now. I just want to get active. I want to do something so I can raise myself out of these circumstances. And that's a beautiful thing to do. But that leads you to have to ask yourself, what kind of action are you taking? And is it the appropriate action that is needed at this time? Or is it the kind of action that you feel you need just to feel better? For example, for some people, the appropriate action in a situation is to not do anything. It's to occupy your mind doing something at home, cooking, cleaning, darning your socks, whatever. Whereas they're like, no, I need to get out there. I need to make phone calls. I need to make inquiries. And that's not the way that you should be moving forward. Both forms are active. Now, you may be like, yeah, but staying home and just focusing on other things is not me being active in the way I need. I need to get my hands out there. But they're trying to say that sometimes when you're moving with that energy, what you actually end up doing is you start engaging with the issue in the wrong kind of energy, and it completely exacerbates it. It turns people off. It creates an energetic field around you that can actually push away the very thing that you need. And if you were to just find a way to decompress, like they're saying here, and they keep saying have tea. So for some of you, having tea is very calming. They're saying if you were just to do that, then it would help you to have the right energy with which to move forward. Okay? So thanks, guys, for saying that. Another thing that they're saying is when you are in this kind of post-traumatic energy where it's like you're feeling stuck, you're feeling stagnant, you don't know, you're having this trouble making decisions about things in life, they're saying it's okay to dream. They're saying, like, look at Spider Spirit. Spider Spirit, God bless him, like, he goes ahead and he lays a massive web. But don't tell me that Spider Spirit is walking on every little web shelf, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 46. He didn't walk on all 46 parts. Like, Spider Spirit, ain't no spider got time for that, basically, right? He's saying basically, no, but what I do is I drop all of these dreams here into this web so that I have everything ahead of me and in front of me. And then I can Trust that I will be ushered onto the path of my highest good. There's nothing wrong with making vision boards. There's nothing wrong with putting your feelers out there at times. There's nothing wrong with dreaming of something better for yourself. But the idea is to dream, and then to, with the strength of, God and the timing and all of this, and with the help and collaboration with all of these energies, to move forward on that dream. Wow. Now, I love that these two cards are Spirit's way of giving us a little bit of a hurrah, little kind of a push. They're saying Spirit always has a plan. Even though you may not be aware of the plan, for whatever reason, it may be hidden from you, but most times, guys, it's because you're not hooked up. You're not online when it comes to your clairs. You gotta work on those senses, guys. Your clairaudience, your clairvoyance, your clairsentience. Work on your intuitive senses, because a lot of times you are getting the information, but you're not aware that you're getting it. And so therefore, when you actually work and practice on these abilities, it brings you into a place of greater awareness, so you can identify when, like, your clairaudience is perking up. And so you're less likely to dismiss it as, oh, whatever, that's just a thought I had. No, that's your clairaudience, and someone is telling you, take the job, And so basically they're saying Spirit always has a plan, and if you listen well enough, if you show up in the world in a sensorially mature way. And what does sensorial maturity mean? I've just made that up. It means doing what it is that you need to make sure that you have honed your intuitive skills. Listen, guys, listen, don't make me throw this table. If you're waiting for the government and all these institutions of power to teach you how to use your senses, you're going to be waiting forever, because it's counterproductive to people in authority to teach you how to be your own authority. So in this day and age, it behooves you to get online with your senses, okay? So if you haven't done so, you can check out that video that they channeled a few days ago. I think it's called something like, wow, fun, they're testing your clairs or something like that. So you can check that out, where they try to get you to see how well you can actually hear and how well you can sense things. So just check out the video. It might be helpful. They help open your ears. They help do some energy clearing as well to help you get online. But it is your job to develop your intuitive senses, because in this day and age, that's what you need. Okay? So they're saying Spirit has a plan. You just have to find a way to tune in and see it, because a lot of times they're literally throwing it at us, but we're not listening. We are distracting ourselves, whether it's over caffeination, whether it's sleeping around with too many people, or being with too many people to just fill your energy field with all sorts of craziness, and whether it's drinking and substances, whether it's too much Netflix, I'm sorry, Netflix, I'm so sorry, I never want to say bad things about you because I love you, but, Netflix is a jealous lover. So whatever it is that you are distracting yourself with, a lot of times they're giving you the answer right there, but you're not able to perceive of it because you haven't honed your skills as yet, and you dismiss it. Okay, so another thing that they're saying is there's always enough. They're saying if you have the dream, there is a way to get it. And it doesn't mean, and this is going to sound a little controversial, but listen, guys, me, I do channeling, God bless, but it doesn't mean you got to take your clothes off, okay? It doesn't mean that, and as much as it's like, well, that was the only option I had. No, that is, and selling drugs and things like that, whatever it is that you're doing that you're like, that is the option, that is the only option that you could glean based on the mindset that you were in. And there are times in our lives where we are just not in a mindset, we're not in an energy, at an energy signature that is conducive to our highest good. And so we have to get to a place where we can get to those places. And what do you think tower moments are? What do you think traumas are? Those are growth opportunities to get us, hopefully we can overcome them, but to get us into higher signatures, energy signatures. higher. And when you're like, listen, when you're in a good mood, right? Don't you notice how when you're in a good mood, you just notice more things, you have better ideas. Like if someone's like, hey, what do you feel like eating? You're like, you know what, why don't we try this or that, because you're in a good mood. But when you're in a sad mood, understandably, because we live in this world, when your mood is low and you're in a sad mood, all of a sudden you don't have, it's almost like those choices don't come to mind. Instead, you'll start thinking about choices that are not as good, they're limited, and they're just low vibing choices. And so my point is, you have a responsibility not only to manage your intuitive senses and get to know them as best friends, because it's part of your machinery, but you have a responsibility to manage your mood as best as you can. And I know that when we're dealing with trauma, that is darn near impossible. But know that there are always resources there available, whether you know it or not. When you go to sleep, spirit works on you. They do clearings, they do this, they do that. There are people, like you could be in a coffee shop and never talk to the person behind you in line. And for whatever reason, their guides rerouted them to that coffee shop to get coffee that day, because their energy field is one that works to heal the fields of those in that they're next to. And so it's like you had to be standing next to them and they brought you guys together. You may never know that, but that person, and that person may never know, and sometimes they do all right. But what I'm saying is, you have so many resources, you have so much help, and we just don't know that because no one teaches us these things. They teach us instead to be slaves to authority, and to not think for ourselves and not perceive for ourselves, and dismiss things like our gut instincts. They call it imagination. Imagination is manifestation, but they want you to think of it as imagination so you don't see the power in it, right? Guys, don't get me started. But anyway, the point is, Spirit is saying you're not alone, and they want you, male, female, or gender non-conforming, to harness the power of this emperor. Look at this emperor, right? He's there, he's contemplative, he's got the Ankh, it's healing. And then look at the Nine of Swords. This part is all buried down. The Nine of Swords energy is that having nightmares, depression, not being able to think straight, crying in the car, crying in the bath, things like that, crying in public, right? When you're crying in public, you know that this is a sign that you need to get help, you need someone to talk to, right? So they're trying to show you that sometimes life stings, but you're not alone, is what they're saying. You're not alone, and you're never alone. So very quickly, just to summarize, because I feel like I'm a little bit all over the place. I'm hungry. But they're saying this message today is for those who are brokenhearted, and they're brokenhearted for many reasons because of the traumas that they've experienced in this lifetime, and the traumas are many, and a lot of these traumas are just continuations from past lives. If we could see our past lives, we would clearly see the continuity with the themes that we're working. Same situations, we're chipping away at it, but just different bodies, different locations, sometimes different roles. But they're saying when you're in that position, you have to know that you're never alone. There are always people with whom to collaborate. At the very least, look left and right. You've got your angels. They're sitting right there. They're watching the video. They're actually here while I'm doing the video, and you haven't seen it yet. So, okay. You can look up as well. There were times in my life where it was bad. And my guides forced me in those times. They're like, just look up. And I would literally force myself to look up at the sky, because that was a physical way of them reminding me that there is another way. There are people, there is help, and to remind me of that, right? It took time. They're also saying to use your boundaries wisely, right? Limit yourself as you need. Doesn't necessarily mean to like get rid of somebody, but if you need to tell them you need time out, or if you need to limit the time you spend with them to once a month, whatever, do it. If you need to limit the amount of people you're around, do that as well. If you need to change the locks to feel better, whatever it is that amounts to helping you feel secure, invest in that, they're saying. They're also saying you have to trust that there's always going to be a rebirth. If you're not seeing the rebirth, that's because there's something that you're missing in your environment. So it behooves you to really work on your intuitive abilities, okay? And so they're going to be bringing more things through my channel to help people hone those skills, but they have already done a few videos on the concepts of discernment, working on your clairsentience, things like that. You just have to check through, if that's your interest, you have to check through the lessons playlist that I have. But anyway, they're also saying that timing is very important. So, and timing is linked with action. A lot of times people think that timing has to be about being inactive, you know, taking time out and whatnot. But sometimes taking time out is not inactive. It's about being active about different things to take your mind off of it. And also it can be about being proactive, right? So what you do is important as well. And they're also saying here that dream, and trust that spirit will take you to where it is that you need to go. Dream, but don't hold on to expectations. So let's see what they want to say here. Oh, they're so great. All right, take a look. These cards correspond, actually. So, time to collaborate. There we have the Two of Cups. Two of Cups is about partnership, remember? Doesn't only have to be romantic, but they're acknowledging that partnerships are the greatest, are God's greatest gift to people. People are God's greatest gifts to each other, because it's through partnerships that we're able to get through the hardships, that we're able to process things, right? They're also saying here, life stings. Sometimes life stings, right? Look at the Page of Swords. But they're saying the key to really transmuting and transforming these stingy life sentences, these things that happen for us, is to seek the lesson in it. Look at his face. He's like, okay, I got cut by this sword, but why? It's all about seeking out the lesson. And some lessons, they're saying, can't be, I guess, cleared in one lifetime. If you have a breakthrough in this lifetime, you may not know that you've been really working on that for like the last 8, for example. And you're like, yeah, this lifetime I got it. But you know, sometimes you're still working through something, and you might not fulfill that. You know, the karmic partner ended up the karmic partner, and you still don't know what the hell was up with that, right? And maybe that's because that relationship is to be transformed in a future lifetime. Who knows? But every little bit helps. Here we have take time out. Four of Swords is all about taking time out. See, this is how you know Spirit's coming through, because they just set these things up and they just always match. Yeah, take time out. They're saying also in this card with the Four of Swords, they're saying when it's time to let something go, let it go. They're like, for crying out loud, let it go. And they're saying imagine that you'll always have a sarcophagus of your own that God has given you, into which to put everything. So if you're afraid of losing it, like that person you like or whatever, you're afraid of losing it, you don't know what's going to happen, imagine that sarcophagus is there being watched over and kept for you in case you should need it later. Throw that thing in there. Throw that relationship in there. Throw the job in there. Energetically put it in there and allow Spirit to move, right? Allow Spirit to move with that, so you're not holding on to it. It's kind of like, okay, I might want to use this still, so can you just hold on to it for a little bit? Let me go over here. Don't throw that away, right? They're like, don't worry, we got it. It's just to get you to move past that thing, and you know, otherwise you get stuck there. And the last card that they're bringing through for your reading today, look, is the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords talks about being stuck. Okay, stuck with obsessive thoughts. But the nuance of the Eight of Swords that we all love is that it's all about perception. You change your perception and boom, you transform the Eight of Swords. But this is the after tarot. This isn't the actual tarot. So those of you who do follow tarot, you may notice that the images are different. In the actual tarot, it's only the girl who's there with the knot, with the swords and the bindings. But in the after tarot, notice that someone has come to help release her from these things. So they're saying that there are a lot of karmic webs that you spin, a lot of things that you put out there, all sorts of things. They're saying that trust that Spirit will always find a way to extricate you and to help you, but you still have to learn your lessons, right? But look at how he's like, he's so funny. I'm hearing his energy. He's like, did you learn your lesson? Look at his face, trolling hard. He's like, did you learn? She's like, mm-hmm. Right? So, anyway, guys. And they're addressing this concept of mercy. They're like, where does mercy fit into all of this? If it's only about learning lessons and all this, can God ever have mercy and just, call a lesson to a halt for this lifetime? And I don't know. Let's see. What are you guys saying? They're saying maybe. They're saying maybe, but they don't want to, that's like the insanity plea. You don't want to, let everybody know, because then otherwise everyone would be trying to get off of a murder case because they pleaded insanity, right? And the insanity plea doesn't apply to everybody. So they're saying, yes, mercy, there can be mercy on you, but it's still going to be done in a way, like your chart will still be adjusted in a way where you can still get the most amount of success out of it without completely, and I feel like maybe that's a case-by-case basis. It's a calculation that includes you on the other side, because even though you're here, your higher self is still on the other side. Those are your spirits that come through when we're doing this reading. But it's like it has to be in consultation with the council on the other side that helps with creating your lifetimes, with your spirit guides. It's not a fly-by-night, just because you're down here, please God, it doesn't work that way, because your higher self, your soul, they're in control. And so, that's why we're here going through a lot of these things for the sake of learning. So anyway, guys, but hey, it doesn't hurt to ask. All right. And they're saying, and God does have mercy. There is great sadness for you when you go through these things. And they're saying it's not easy for your friends in spirit, your friends and family in spirit, to see you going through these things, these major traumas. But they're showing you that there is a way and that there is love for you at every turn. Every turn. All right, guys? And look at YouTube. It's a miracle. Look at all the YouTube readings. Guys, I remember back in the day when, before YouTube was out, if you needed a reading, you had to pay, you had to shell out some money. And then you were probably getting conned, right? Unless you got lucky. And so my point is, or you're spending $5 a minute, you talk for 5 minutes and you've already spent $25 and you haven't gotten to what it is that you need. And here it is on YouTube. We can just come in and get free readings that, our guides can use to help us and whatnot. So Spirit is saying that's just one example. They're really pushing it. They're like, dang, that is just one example of how you have so much help. Let's say it again. So much help around you. But if you can't see that because of your mindset, what are we going to do, right? And so they're trying to help you manage your mood. So be careful, guys. Manage your mood as best as you can. All right? I know it's hard, because trust me, I've been there. Readers can do these kinds of readings because we've had the energies within us at some point to be able to do this, right? But that being said, at some point the responsibility is on you, the onus is on you to develop yourself. Listen, develop your intuitive senses. Stop waiting for other people to get you to do it. Okay? Develop your intuitive senses, connect with your guides, stop playing the victim in this 3D world, because the truth is you're not the victim in this 3D world. Yes, we are victimized in the 3D world because we have to be sometimes for the sake of learning, right? However, you have so many resources available. It's to the point that literally if you say, I want to go on vacation, guides, listen, I want to go on vacation. Can you guys work that out? Thank you. Bye. Let them know, and they're already on it. And then you'll start to see, if you can just pay attention to your world around you, you'll start to see opportunities starting to roll in. Where do you think that came from, right? So you have a lot of resources around you. Also, there was a video that they channeled in the lessons playlist, maybe in October or November, or maybe December. I don't know. Go check it out. Maybe November. But find it if you're interested. In the title, it's something like acknowledging the sacred assistants that we have. It's like looking at the helpers in spirit that you have. I can't remember the title for sure. Actually, let me just pause and look. One sec. Okay, found it. It is it's the daily reading for November 25th, 2019, and it says a brief commentary on acknowledging our divine assistance. So anyway, if that's something you're interested in, if you're interested in finding out about your helpers, literally the person sitting right to the left and right of you, and right behind you, then you can check that out. And you can give them tests too, like, guys, if you're real, then please do this, and they'll work to connect with you, okay? They're saying they're trying desperately to connect with some of you, and some of you are not hearing. So please do, if you haven't, go also and check out, let's see, what's that video? One sec. It is the video that we posted, the morning message for January 29th. It says, wow, fun, energetic downloads, and a Claire test. That was their way. I almost called that an eye test. That was their way of helping you to see what your Claire abilities are. So for example, they really promoted colors. They probably tried to touch you, give you sensations, speak to you. Like, it was a moment where in that video they can help you get online. You know what the best word is? They were calibrating. So the idea is to help you to become aware. And in that video, they also offered some energy healing to help you guys do some unblocking and clearing and things like that. So hopefully some of you guys were able to improve your abilities. All right. So anyway, God bless you guys. This video is long. Thank you, Spirit. And I will see you guys later. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please do check the box below. And if you'd like to donate and say, thanks, Jonelle, that's always welcome as well. Mwah. Bye.